Race 4 is one of the biggest races of the day. It is one of the jewels in the crown of Kipco British Champions Day. It's the Queen Elizabeth II Stakes, 1,600 metre straight mile Group 1 to really look forward to. Graham Cunningham and John Blance alongside to preview. And these are the runners in 2024, one of the most celebrated races each and every year. Charin has been the dominant miler. Czech and Challenge ran one in this last year. So too did Factor Cheval. Further down, Poker Face, Prague, Coudoir, Dancing Gemini, Henry Longfellow is Ryan Moore's mount, Metropolitan Sirona and Sirona's stablemate, the very talented Tamfana. Charin, Graham, is the obvious starting point, and he really has had a very good season.
He's had a very good season, and it could have been a great season with slightly better luck and circumstantial pacing running, because he got caught out in the Lock-in Stakes by Audience. He got caught out in the Prix de Moulin last time in an odd tactical race by Tribalist. But here, going back to the springtime, is when Charin announced himself as a possible Group 1 horse, winning the Sandown Mile in decisive style. And this is what he does best, John. His final furlong tends to be really, really powerful. We saw that at Royal Ascot. We've seen it at Deauville. He's the one to beat, surely.
Yeah, that was quite a slow gallop, and he reeled off a quick couple of late sectionals. And at Royal Ascot, the timing device went kaput in the Queen Anne Stakes, but it looked a really strongly run race, and he just breezed past them. So he's the one they all have to beat, to coin a cliche.
Tamfana, now we'll talk about good seasons. It could have been one of real frustration, John, if she hadn't won her Group 1, but she did that last time. Yeah,
it's interesting as well, because she was towards the back of the field in that red hot 1,000 guineas at the start of the year. Wasn't quite able to go on and win that, but she ran well. This time round, she was ridden quite prominently in a slowly run race in Spiral. Couldn't quite overhaul her. It was a very nice performance, hinting at the sort of versatility in the run. She gets the fillies allowance here. She's in the numbers.
There's a real hunger about the way she gallops as well, which you have to like. She did win on testing ground as a 2-year-old at Chantilly, and it's a real interesting angle from a fan's point of view. When you cost 20,000 euros as a young horse, and you're not the cheapest horse in the race.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it's a big money entry in now, Prague. What are we expecting from him come Saturday?
Yeah, he is Coolmore, Ballydoyle cast off, cost 10,000. Fantastic colour story, because his owner is Amadeo Dalpos, hope I've pronounced that right, and he's the head lad to up-and-coming trainer Dylan Cunha. Now, on the face of it, John, this was a major step forward from Prague, but it was a small field. Did this race fall apart just slightly for him?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, a crude line of form through Poker Face gives him a good chance against Charin. I think that is a bit of a blunt instrument to take to that. But the horse has improved a heck of a lot over the summer, still relatively unexposed. Not quite sure he's a Group 1 performer, but great story, and great to see Dylan Cunha, who hasn't been in Britain very long, having a bona fide Group 1 runner.
Let's go back to midsummer and the success of Notable Speech, who isn't here. Factor Cheval, who finished third, is. We've learned since he ran well on this day last year what a top-notcher he is, Graham.
Sometimes Group 1s can be defined by which horses aren't there as well as which ones are. We don't have Notable Speech on deck this Saturday. We don't have Porta Fortuna. We don't have Rosalien. We don't have Rama Twel. On this day, Notable Speech quickens up well. I thought Factor Cheval ran well up to a point, but I do think he'll be better on soft ground at Ascot this weekend, John. He was second in this race last year, and he should have been closer to the runaway winner, Big Rock. He was given a lot to do.
He was, and he was given a lot to do by running an entirely wrong part of the track in the Queen Anne Stakes as well. When Big Rock, his French counterpart, went over there. Well, that's not the place to be at Ascot in high summer. That part of the track, though, is the place to be at Ascot in the autumn. Stall 3, he'll run well.
OK, we can go over to Graham now for the 1, 2, 3, 4 for one of the feature races of the day.
Yeah, I think Charin is as close to a banker, bar Kyprios perhaps, as there is on the card. He's a real strength miler, stiff mile, softish ground, and no Notable Speech, no Rosalien, no Porta Fortuna, no Rama Twel. I think he'll win this, and I think he'll win it emphatically. So he's on top for me. You can see that I quite like the look of Factor Cheval. Tamfana's hard to disrespect, but I think Charin, I think this race revolves around him, and I think he'll win well.
Absolutely. John?
I think he'll win well as well. He's going to be very, very tough to beat, certainly. Charin on top. Tamfana in there for second. Factor Cheval, so the same trio TSA for those three. Going to go with Coudoir, the summer mile winner, because got some good Ascot form prior to that race as well. He's possibly not quite a Group 1 contender, but he could still run to a place here.
He's reduced his trainer to tears, and I think that Charin will do that once again and prove champion on Champions Day. So it's a team's team, all three of us going for Charin in the QE2.